Welcome back, everyone. This is Amanda Forrow's channel, where she helps us guide ourselves on a relatively spiritual level through the difficulties that we're experiencing on the planet at the moment. Hello, Amanda. Lovely to see you again.
And lovely to see you. It's the 5th of May. I think we keep forgetting to tell people that we're still in lockdown. They may see this in years to come or tomorrow. But it's the 5th of May 2020, and we are still locked down, particularly in South Africa. I think more locked down than most places in the world. I see there's a lot of jubilation with people out having mass marches all around the world.
Mm.
So a lot of people are changing their circumstances, which is fantastic.
Yes, it really is fantastic. And we're excited because we've dropped to level 4. But I'm still hearing friends and colleagues of mine who are feeling frustrated, some feeling a bit manipulated. You know, the rules keep changing. There's a lot of fear going on, and it feels like we can act out in different ways, but the ways in which we've acted out before may not be serving us. So if you had some guidance for those of us who are still frustrated and still feeling this, what would your guidance be?
I think we've reached a critical mass on this planet. I think we spoke about it before, the tipping point, but this is a critical mass where people have to choose whether they are going to continue to be brainwashed into having these unfulfilled lives, or whether they're going to break out and go, hold on, I'm on a planet of free will where I can actually choose how I want to live, choose what I want to do. And I think that's the energy that people need to bring to their lives at the moment. That whole sort of new way of looking at what's going to be a new world. It's quite fascinating that it's taken this much of a shutdown, a lockdown, to really get people to start thinking and going inside and asking themselves the questions, well, why am I not happy? Because what used to make them happy doesn't make them happy anymore. Things have changed a lot. The way that we used to be excited because we were going to a party, or we had a new car, or just isn't cutting it anymore, because there's something deep down inside every single human being on the planet, whether they want to choose to see it or not. That is the point of them being on the planet at the moment, is to embrace this new world that we're going to have, where we're going to have far more freedom than we've had before, and we're not going to be brainwashed anymore. So it's such an exciting time, actually, but I realize, because I'm also living it, that it's quite a scary time for people as well. And I think it's a choice. You can either go, oh my God, I'm just going to give in to what I'm being told. I'm going to watch the news doggedly and get more and more and more fearful. Or I'm going to go, well, hold on a minute. Doesn't a pandemic mean millions of people die? No, I'm sure this isn't a pandemic. So what is actually going on? And that's the excitement. That's the quest, to go and find out what's really happening and what's really behind all this. And it's always control. The answer is always control. And people are losing control. I remember in the 60s, yes, I can remember that. And it was all love and peace, man, and burn your bra. I didn't wear one then, but you know what I mean. And they went through that whole beautiful awakening as well then, when they wanted to bring peace and love to the world, not all this fighting and division and separation. And what's happened is they slowly, that the powers that shouldn't be have forced that upon us again. Separation. I mean, I never thought I'd live in a world where, and I'm not religious, but where they'd say you cannot go to church. They're stopping people even trying to get in touch with God and with the universe. So for me, I mean, fortunately, I do that inside myself. And I can do that anywhere, in the bath, in the garden. I can contact my angels. And that's what the gift is, I think, for people. And maybe they're not seeing the silver lining of this, but the gift is you can contact God, the universe, whatever you want to call that higher power, yourself. You have the ability to do it. And the more you practice it, the easier it becomes. And of course, all the energies that are coming into the planet now, and there's so many more than there used to be, they're pumping in every day. And that's what's attuning people. It's like a tuning fork. You've got to be receptive to it. But even those, I think, that weren't that receptive have suddenly gone, oh, I wonder what that's about. Why am I feeling a sense of peace? Because that does come with it.
Oh, that's very interesting. So you're saying that the common man who might not have been focused on these things before because they're too busy working, paying bills, bringing up children, stressing about the office or whatever, they've had time now to go, wow, what am I feeling? And how can I choose a reaction to what I'm going through?
How can I choose a new reality? How can I choose to be fulfilled instead of being desolate? Because I think most people are miserable. And that's why most people drink so much or become addicts or do anything to take them out of how they're feeling. If you want to change your mindset all the time, isn't it because your mindset is unhappy? That's where addictions come in. That's where compulsive behavior comes in. It comes from, like we were saying earlier, ADHD, things like that. It comes from people being full of fear. It's a fear-based outcome. So when you are like this and, oh, what am I going to do? And what's going to happen? And there you go, straight into anxiety again. What the spiritual path does is it lets you take control. I want to be in control of the way I'm feeling. And it gives you your power back. There's nothing more fearful for us as human beings than feeling we have no power whatsoever and it's being taken away from us. And that's exactly what is trying to be perpetrated on the entire world at the moment.
Wow, crazy times. So let's say that I've started to go inward and I've started to do the work and I've looked at some very inspiring videos that have reminded me of the journey and the fact that I'm not alone and that it's actually a much more inspiring path to be on. And then something happens and sets me back. Like, let's say I lose some business. My revenues are going to be affected. It means that I won't be able to put bread on the table as easily as before. I have to pinch things in. And I lose sight of the inspiration that I held that got me going. What do I do?
Sometimes that happens to us because we're not on the right path. And we go, we do a job that is, we're getting paid for. Let's say you are actually a salaried employee. Most people don't like their job and they do it for the salary instead of for the satisfaction. So when spirit steps in, and on a huge scale like this now, because this is most people who are out of work, it's only the government that's getting its salary. Isn't that surprising? So when that happens, it really is like I call it God's running snort club. It's that wake up. You've really got to wake up. And sometimes that happens to us and we think it's a terrible thing. But what it does, if we can learn to work with it and not suddenly scream and go hysterical, if we can go, okay, hold on a minute. what do I need to relook at here? Am I still doing this because this is my favorite thing to do when I wake up in the morning? Am I thrilled about this job? Does it inspire me? Do I get out of bed and go, yippee? Because I do that when I go, yay, I've got a reading, yay. I love it. I mean, I just love what I do. And that is really the gift. And I'm sure it's John Lennon or somebody like that, wonderful, who said that, you know, doing what you love for a living isn't really a job. So because there are so many people like that, your soul will try and guide you to a different path. So let's say you actually like doing what you're doing, but you're losing business. Everybody's losing business at the moment, but it's not that that business can't be reclaimed. And your energy, as we've talked about before, whatever goes out to the universe comes back to you. Now, the universe hasn't been affected by this lockdown. It's still working, still doing its thing. People still need to be in business, okay? So if you busy yourself, if you actually create something else maybe, or think about, what if I did this? Well, what would I like to do? What would I really like to do if I was to get up in the morning? And the problem with the human brain is we go, but I can't do that immediately. Goes, I can't do that because I don't have the money, I'm not living in the right place, I'm not whatever. And what Spirit always says to me is, forget all of that. Let's just ask the question, what is it that you most want to do? If I could wave a magic wand, how would your day look? And spend some time. And this is what's called doing inner work. It's spending the time with yourself, answering the questions like this. Am I doing the right thing for a living? Am I happy? Am I happy to be in this relationship I'm in? Am I happy living here? Is this the right place for me to be? It's all those questions about your life that need to be answered. So it's not difficult work, it's honest work. And it comes with a level of trust. You've got to start being honest with yourself, trust yourself, and trust that there's a whole group of guides and angels who work with you, who are trying to help you see what's your best path forward.
Okay, that's lovely. And it also makes me feel comfort that I'm not alone. And that's such a big thing for so many people in the whole thing. Now, we've done a couple of episodes on how to listen to our guides and how to tune in. But I have a question for you about some average person who's going through what we've described. How do they know that they're on the right spiritual path for themselves?
It really is, like I was just saying, a trust thing, but you have to feel comfortable. You have to resonate with the information. I can remember years ago saying to my angel, why can't I know everything now? Because I'm very impatient, you know. And the message that I got was, it will blow your mind completely. You haven't got the level of consciousness to accept that. I wouldn't understand it. So 20 years ago, I wouldn't have understood the messages that I'm giving now. And the thing about doing this is, if you can't just read it and then go off to work, you've got to integrate this knowledge. It has to become something that you know. Remember I said, we're not learning, we're remembering. We were pre-programmed with all of this. We've already got it in there. We're just trying to access the files. And as you know, with any computer, sometimes it's bloody hard to access those files. It's hard to find them. And that's what it is. Let's access this information. And as soon as you're reading somebody or watching somebody that you go, oh, now I get it, now I see, then stick with that person, because It means that they are talking to your wavelength. They're speaking to you, and you are a receptive. You are a receptor.
Mm.
So, and there's so much when you look at even years ago, the books that we started off with, the Celestine prophecies for the beginners, and all those books. The Secret became a big thing. And we must talk one day about The Secret, because I'll tell you what's missing from that. I worked out why that doesn't work, and there's a bit they left out, typically. But yeah, it's information that sits with you, and you go, I get it. As soon as you get it, you're on the right path.
Okay, thank you. That's really practical and helpful. So in sum, we're saying use this lockdown to forget about the noise and the stresses of normal day-to-day life and go within ourselves and start to ask ourselves those honest questions. And as the answers start to come to us and they resonate with us, we'll know that we're following the right path. What a lovely
listen to, watch things, watch more of my broadcasts, hopefully. They answer all your questions, because that's what Gail and I are trying to do. We're trying to answer everybody's everyday question. And obviously, I do readings for people that are more pertinent. I don't want to sit here and listen to, everybody's questions, and I'm sure you don't want, their answers. That's between me and that client. It's not something that I ever tell anybody else. So there is a private way of doing it, but this is the most public way I can think of trying to help people feel better about this, and knowing that this is not the end of the road. This is actually the beginning of a whole new way of living, and a wonderful, more free society, and a freer way of living. And it might not feel like it now, but I'm sure it is.
That's really great. Thank you so much, Amanda. See you next time.